Want to achieve network marketing success? Then you're in the right company. Hello, and welcome to Leave Nothing to Chance, hosted by networking marketing giant John Solleder. Learn everything you need to know about the network marketing space from somebody who's actually done it. Join us every week for front row seats as we feature some of the finest and most successful personalities in network marketing. Leave nothing to chance. Join us now.
All right, so hey, round two with Mr. Tom Big Al Schreiter, all the way from beautiful Thailand. And Tom, welcome again to the show. How are you today?
Good, nice and warm. Not as warm as Dallas, but still warm.
Great. Well, thanks so much for being here once again. And hey, I hope everybody heard our first show. If you didn't, go back to the archives, archived on leavingnothingtochance.com. You can always listen to this stuff 24/7. And Tom is just such an amazing human being. He's so insightful. He's got so much experience and from building organizations. And that's one of the things I admire about you is you're a field guy who's been able to do every other function of the business as well. So I really admire that about your career, Tom. So let's get started. And we talked a little bit about the body of work of the 50 plus books that you've had out for anywhere from a few years to lots of years, one of which influenced me early on. Big Al Tells All was just such a wonderful book and helped me really understand 2-on-1 sponsoring and also the logic of, don't chase your tail after the big prospects. If somebody can fog a mirror, they're a prospect for our business. And, all of those good little pointers that we talk about that you illustrate so well in your writing. So I would encourage you people, as you listen to this stuff, build your library. Like Mr. Rohn used to say, when you're gone, your kids aren't going to, worry about your coffee table, but your library they're going to look into. And Tom's work should be in your library, many of which are in mine, frankly. So anyway, Tom, tell us about the new book and how can they get it? And what's different maybe than some of the previous books?
The latest book that just came out August 1st is called A Happy Networker. And it just shows people how to do network marketing in a way that's in their comfort zone, no rejection. And it shows her, if you're doing it this way and you don't feel good, it'll stop. Do it in a way where it's going to be natural. You won't have to worry about motivation or goals or to-do lists. So the book, Keith and I made free, but if they go to bigalbooks.com and get on the mailing list, there'll be links there to download the book. And it's free. So if you have people that can't afford, $4 or $5 for an ebook, they could actually get it free. So well within their budget. How's that?
Well, I read it the other day and just it's an easy read. And yet, once again, so many good pointers for us. So Big Al, let's just say that again, bigalbooks.com.
Yeah, just go to bigalbooks.com and you look for something that says free, click free, and magic happens.
So let's talk a little bit, let's segue a little bit to the changes that you've seen in these, 50 some odd years of being involved in the industry. How has technology changed things in a better way, or for that matter, in a worse way than when you began?
Well, in the beginning, nobody had anything to compare network marketing to. Remember, we talked earlier about the brain not being able to compare. So they said, well, what's this network marketing? So you must be a bunch of these anti-communist government hippies, what's going on? So in the beginning, it was hard to sponsor people because everything was, work 40 years, get your check, etc. And now over the last 40 years of technology, you can sign somebody up and right after lunch, and they'll be in 4 other programs before dinner. So the challenge went from getting somebody to understand that they could be in their own business to how do you get somebody to focus who's just playing lottery tickets. So that's what changed. Bottom line is we still are going to end up having to talk to a live human being. The autoresponders, the attraction marketing, the ads, the leads. And I hope nobody takes this personally, but most people shouldn't be talking to leads. What they do is say, well, I talked to my family and friends, and they all said no. And I said, okay, They didn't like what you said, right? Yeah. I said, all right. So if your family and friends didn't like what you said, strangers ain't gonna like it any better. So you might want to learn what to say. So before, investing a whole bunch of stuff for leads and stuff, it's probably better to learn what to say. And it's not magical. I have a friend. She calls leads, which I would find, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rank it pretty much next to dental surgery. It's just not me. Yeah. To call people and say, you filled out a form, or your neighbor filled out a form to get even with you, and now I'm the 54th person to call you to join my business. I'd say, oh man. But she says, well, I like doing it. And I said, okay, so how do you do it in a way that works for you? She says, well, I use one of your mind reading things. So if you can mind read somebody, you of course create instant rapport. They say, you see the world the same way I do. So she calls, says, I understand you're looking for a business. And because you're on this list here, you probably haven't found one yet. Is there a reason you haven't found one yet? And people open up and tell her exactly why. And she said, it's like mind reading, to tell me exactly what they're looking for. How hard is it? So if we learn what to say, that's more important than waking up every morning with a triple caffeine, eye of the tiger, I'm one with the universe, and, jumping up and down. Just knowing what to say that works in a pleasant way is something we can do forever. We don't have to pump ourselves up. So this is pretty much as excited as I get. You don't have to be one of these excited superhuman beings. You just learn how to do the business, what to say, and that's it. We just communicate with people.
I love that, because we've both seen over the years that person who's so excited that they want to almost throw up on you. And it's like, if they were recruiting me, I would run away. I would be like, I don't want to work with that person. They're too high energy, because, a lot of us are just really even keeled, right? And we know it's a marathon, not a sprint in the business, but also in life. And it's like, those people scare me. They come out of these seminars that whether it's whoever, I won't name any names, but they come out of some of these seminars and they want to jump up and down and scream and yell, and it's like, boy, go recruit somebody else, because I'm the wrong guy. I want the guy who's just give me. I kind of like remember Joe Friday, right? You and I remember Joe
Yeah.
Friday. Just the facts. Just give me what I need to know, and let me figure out the rest. I love what you say. We think the same on that, Tom. No doubt. Hey, Tom, how is the recession, the worldwide recession that we're in? How do you think that's changing things in terms of not just the businesses in terms of their growth or non-growth for that matter, but how do you position it right now, I guess, for people? How do you get that conversation started with somebody about, hey, here's what's happening in the world. We know what's happening in the world. And how do you get them over to what you really want to talk about, which is your business opportunity, whatever it happens to be?
I don't even go there. I'm probably the last one to know when we hit recession, because I don't watch TV or watch the news. So I think in 50 years, there's been a whole lot of recessions or stuff. What happens? I haven't noticed it. Just keep doing the same thing. We talk to people. We make an offer to them and say, if this offer, like join us for ice cream at the ice cream parlor, like we talked about last time, if that works for you, then I'll give you the details. If it doesn't work for you, let's talk about something else. So in a recession, all right, 10% of the people may lose their job, but 90% have it. So I'm not going to change my whole strategy for 10% and blow off the 90%. I pretty much do the same thing. So for some people, recession means, well, we can't eat out as often as we used to. Or I have to cut back to only 3 cable subscriptions. Oh, all right, get over it. Instead of having an extra trim leather when I buy this new car, all right, now I can't have that extra trim leather, get over it. I don't even bother with it, but I'm sure you could make it a big issue, and it could be a fact to create rapport, but I don't see much difference. Just like when I had this virus thing, people are going to say, oh, it's over now. We can't even meet with people anymore. So they started meeting them on Zoom, and amazingly, and even I was surprised at this, that most networking companies grew a whole lot because of this, a whole lot. And you would have expected the opposite. So whether there's a recession or not, if we say stupid stuff, we get bad results. And if we get bad results, then we have to hype ourselves up every morning to be excited about going out and seeing ourselves fail. I think it's probably a better thing to maybe kind of figure out what to do or say so people just join.
Wow, love it, love it. That is the best answer. I can interview you all day. You're the most logical person I've ever interviewed.
Yeah.
So, Tom, let me ask you about magic words, because you talked about that in the new book. What are some of the magic words that you can tease them with so they go and get the book, which is what we want them to do?
All right. They have a pencil and paper. Grab one quick. Let's start with some short ones. And you can see how quickly they work. And I'll do the one that changed my life. I used to ask people, would you be interested in? Now, just think back. How am I going to react to that? So if we go out and ask people, would you be interested in, before we finish the rest of the sentence, what decision have they probably made? Salesman approaching, run, save yourself, hide your wallet, hide your purse, dive, Scotty, dive, whoop, whoop, whoop. I would say that, and people enjoy. And when I learned to change it to these 5 words, would it be okay if you say, would it be okay if, the human mind has a pre-existing program that says, if anybody says, would it be okay if, the answer is always yes, unless it's just too unreasonable. All right, so which set of 5 words we're going to use? Figure it out. And you say, well, so if I say, would it be okay if, you're saying that people normally will say, yeah. Well, yeah. So if you don't believe it works, think about your kids. Mom, Dad, would it be okay if I got this toy? Would it be okay if we went to Sally's house? Would it be okay if I borrowed the car and never bring it back? That's my daughter. So when you say, would it be okay if, just changing those words, whoa, everything changes. So I said, okay. So that's how people make decisions based upon some pre-existing programs. So let's take a look at when we talk to people like security. Our number 1 program is the survival, to stay alive, because we die, all bets are off. So because we have security in our mind, we see 2 restaurants. One restaurant is empty. The other one has a line starting to form outside the door. Which one do we want to eat at? And normally people say, well, I want to eat the busy one. And you ask them why. So I don't know, the food's better. Maybe the empty one, everybody ate there, died. Nobody's there to come back. We don't know, but there's social proof, things that in our brain say we want to be safe in groups. We don't want to be a loner. When we're a caveman, we went out by ourselves, lions ate us, so it's better to go out in a group. So we have this hardcore program in our mind: stay with the group, be safe, do what other people do because it's tested. Don't try something too new because you may not come back. So understanding that, let's use some word combinations. You can say things like most people. Simply stating most people will instantly say, most people. Am I part of most people or am I part of less people? Well, not many people are part of less people, so I'm probably part of most people. Now, if most people are part of most people, I must be a most people type person. Yeah, so whatever most people do, I'm going to do. Yeah. You say, that's how the human brain thinks. Yeah. So you'd say things like, most people want an extra income. Most people want to beat recession. Most people don't want 100% of their paycheck and security tied up with one company that just may go out of business. Most people want to lose weight. He said, yeah. You say, wow, that was pretty easy. Now, most people know that that can't be the only 2-word combination in the universe. So everybody knows there's got to be another 2-word combination. And everybody knows that if we just keep demonstrating this, that everybody knows it, we'll probably pick up that everybody knows is the next 2-word thing. So if you say everybody knows, people are going to say instantly in their brain, am I part of everybody? Am I part of nobody? Well, nobody's part of nobody, so I'm part of everybody. And if everybody knows it, that means I know it. If I know it, it must be true. No further proof needed. Well, that's going to save us a lot of time. Everybody knows it's stupid to have all our income tied up in one paycheck. Oh, must be stupid. Yeah, okay. Everybody says. Oh, if everybody says, so let me see, am I part of everybody? Yeah. If everybody says it, that means I say it. If I say it, it must be true because I'm not a liar. You say, wow, just putting those in front of just basic facts changes how people react. So what happens when you put these together? So let's just use everybody knows. So if you have a pencil paper, write down everybody knows. Right below it, write down most people. Write down most people. And then would it be okay if? So we wrote down everybody knows, most people, would it be okay if? So let's pick a product. I don't know, what's a random product that we could talk about, John?
Right now, a random product. Well, let's talk about Snickers bars, right? We were using Snickers bars.
All right, let's do
earlier.
Snickers bar, right? Yeah. Everybody knows we work hard. So most people want a treat at the end of the day. Would it be okay if you had a Snickers treat because it's just going to make you feel awesome?
Perfect.
Everybody knows that viruses mess with our immune system. So most people want to build their immune system. Would it be okay if you had a shortcut to building your immune system?
Mm. Well, I like that one personally. I have my own reasons to like that one.
Everybody knows the economy's in trouble. So most people want to have an extra income just for safety. Would it be okay if I showed you one more way to have an extra income? So you start stacking these and you say, this is just too easy. This should almost be illegal. And we haven't even started. So you say, well, so how do you get people to believe things and so easily? I said, well, most people do this. Everybody says this. They say, well, I get tired of saying that because it's just so easy. I want to challenge my life. So I says, well, how about this one? There is an old saying. If you say there's an old saying, people say, well, it must be true because it's an old saying. So if you want somebody to believe something, just say it's an old saying in front of it. You say, we know what old sayings are, these old wives' tale, a stitch in time saves 9. But there's an old saying that having a job guarantees you'll be broke at 65. Oh, that must be true. Yeah. There's an old saying, and you say, I could use this anywhere. You say, all right. So what are some other things? Because this starts to get addictive. So let's just, I tell people that you can literally take control of another human being's mind with the littlest 9 words. And look at me, he says, 9 words? You can take control of another person's mind. And, the evil laugh comes out, ha, 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 ha. And yeah, so the other people, they're not using their free will. They're reacting to what we say. Because we know people are 100% reactionary. You go outside and meet somebody, give them $100, they're going to react. Oh yeah, okay, great. Do you have any more? I won the lottery. You go outside and meet the same person and give them a punch in the nose, they'll react differently. I know in Texas, they're very polite, so they'll probably say something like, oh, that was rude. But the question is, it's the same person outside, 2 different reactions. Did their behavior have anything to do with them or everything to do with what we said and did? And people go, their behavior has everything to do with what I said and did. So change what you say and do. Stop blaming the universe. I said, okay, so how do I take control of people's minds? Bring it to a screeching halt. Make them forget whatever they're thinking about. Totally, like a puppy dog waiting for a treat. Just can't wait for your next words. You say, all right, so I bet we can do it with 9 words. You say, really? Yeah. So let's try this. I have some good news and some bad news.
Give me the
Dead
good
silence.
news.
They can't stand it. They can't stand it. But tell me more. They will stop the track. You could be at a coffee machine with 5 people around you and say, I have some good news and some bad news. And just stop right there. And you'll have 100% attention.
I'm taking notes.
They say, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is we only get a pay raise here once a year. The good news is we can get a pay raise every month if we know how. People say, well, how's that? Everybody knows jobs are dead end. So most people know a part-time business is a secret. So would it be okay with you if I showed you how you can have a part-time business on the side that doesn't affect your business? And he's saying, this is interesting. Simple as that. And you say, so if you don't believe good news and bad news works, just think if your son or daughter calls you late at night, says, Mom, Dad, I have some good news and some bad news. 100% attention. Now, I have a nephew. He's more of an outgoing party personality. How's that? So he borrowed his mom and dad's car one night and rolled it, totally crashed it. So he picks up the phone to call mom and dad and says, Mom, Dad, I have some good news and some bad news. What happened? He said, the bad news is I wrecked the company car. I rolled it. But the good news is I lived. Oh, my son, my son. And you say, you get away with that. Just instant attention. And you think, 9 words, I can control another person's mind. It's just 9 words. And all I have to say is good news and bad news. And you're probably thinking, wow, I wonder if there's any other 9-word combinations where I can take control of the world. And I'd say, well, there are 2 types of people in the world. There are 2 types of people in the world. That'd be about 9 words, wouldn't it? You say there's 2 types of people in the world. Total attention.
Amazing.
They have no choice. And you're thinking, man, 9 words. That's great, but I'm part-time. It's so hard for me to learn. Do you have something shorter with like 4 words? I said, well, I just found out. I just found out. They say, yeah, I just found out how we get an extra paycheck. I just found out how we could fire the boss. I can just find out how we never have to commute again. I just found out how we can work 3 weeks out of the month, get paid for 4. I just found out how we can earn more money part-time than our boss does full-time. We could go on and on with these. And you say, so that's why they work. And I says, yeah, we can do a ton. We can do these for session after session. But the point is, learn what to say. Well, why go to a career and never learn a single skill about it? We should learn the skills of how to talk to people. So those are magic words. And if you're thinking that's all good, but I need to close. So I think last podcast, we mentioned that our job is to give people an option and accept the option. That way we have no rejection. So here's a little formula using magic words, 9 words. The formula starts out with, so what is going to be easier for you? ? So what is going to be easier for you? Yeah, 9 words. So if you say, so what's going to be easier for you? People say, wow, you're giving control to me. You're not trying to force me. No more salesmanship. You don't have an agenda. You want me to choose. No sales pressure. I can decide what's going to be best for my life. Pretty good magic words. So you say, so what's going to be easier for you to wrap up your presentation? And you give them 2 choices. Number 1, your wonderful offer, or choice number 2, to keep their miserable life the same. So it would sound something like this. So what's going to be easier for you? To worry about the virus and try to hide behind the mask for the rest of your life and live in constant fear, or to use our antioxidant super pills to build your immune system so you can go back to enjoying life? How hard was that? Or you could say, so it's going to be easier for you to go to work every day buying chapstick by the case because you have a full-time job kissing your boss's behind, or to start a part-time business tonight, so maybe next year you can wave goodbye to the job. Just give them a choice.
Man,
So that's how magic words work.
that's incredible. Folks, I hope everybody is going to listen repeatedly to what Tom just shared. Tom, I got 2 pages of notes. I've been doing this 40 years, and I just learned some stuff that just, once again, you just simplify the somewhat difficult, process of building a network marketing business that everybody, to your point, everybody wants to confuse it with, 19 different strategies of how you're going to get to do what. You can go knock on your next door neighbor's door and say, can want to have a cup of coffee together? Let me tell you about this, let me tell you what I'm doing. Let me tell you how, you know, everything you just said there, you know, and that's, I think, why you've been such an incredible success and leader in our industry, and you've influenced so many people. And this is, you're still as great now as the first time I met you 30 years ago, you know, in London. I mean, so amazing stuff. And you know how I learned, by the way, doing these podcasts. I have notes and notes and notes, and then you can't see my computer here, but I've got notes from guys from the Og Mandino Foundation and from a number of different things that I just kind of take my notes from here, and then I put them on those little yellow stickies and I stick them on my computer, because all of a sudden it's like, hey, I want to sound smart. I got a great idea right here. Borrowed or stolen, whatever you want to call it. Incredible, incredible. So Tom, once again, let's just come back and tell them again how to get the book, the new book. Okay.
The Happy Network Marketer. It's not up on Amazon yet. What we did is we gave it to a company called BookFunnel. They can distribute it free everywhere. Amazon won't let you do that anymore. So just go to bigalbooks.com, BIGALBOOKS, bigalbooks.com. Look for something that's click free. If you do, then they'll send you a link and you can get the book, and you can twice a week we send out tips of cool things to say, and in the tips there will have the links to, you know, the free books and stuff. It doesn't cost anything to learn except a little bit of time. So I tell people, like the book, you know, it's not a $5 investment. This book is absolutely free. Your investment is 90 minutes to read it. So I tell people, I don't know if that's too much price for you to pay. You know, you're going to miss 90 minutes of Netflix, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, a lot of people need to start thinking that way. Our audience, so I have to say, Tom, our audience is good. They react very well to stuff. So expect to see some stuff coming from our part of the world here. Hey, Tom, let's talk about something else. I mean, you've been literally all over the world. I think, I might be wrong about this, I think there's 162 countries, 167 countries, something like that now in the United Nations. You've been to over 100 where you've spoken to audiences. Mm-hmm. Well, what are your, you know, without penalizing any of the countries that you don't want to mention, why don't you just talk about some of the places that you've been, some of the, maybe the experiences, the life experiences that you've had, that if you had not in 1972 said yes to this industry, that you never would have had, that you would have been in Chicago, maybe doing something else right now.
Well, I didn't join for the money. I joined for the travel. You know, out of school, I got a job and I found out you only get 2 weeks holiday, and I'm thinking, wow, that's not going to work. So that's why network marketing looked so good. I says, here's my chance to travel the world. All I really want to do is travel. So it worked. I got a chance to travel. It was, you know, charisma bypassed, etc. But when people said, well, this guy knows if you say these words, they join. So they started inviting me everywhere. You know, they invite me to Hong Kong and Russia and Africa and all these places. They just come over, and you know, so I went over. I volunteered my time. You know, you're making money at network marketing. You don't have to take it from these folks. So volunteered time, and I got a chance to go all over the world. So some of the places you go to, you say, how are they able to do this? And you know, you go to places like Croatia back in the early 90s, where there are a few motor shells, you know, hit the main street by people trying to pick up their product. And so they say, well, we got to stay inside for, you know, a little extra time here before we can go out again. And they get on with their business. Mm. You know, I do places like Iran, or I go to Siberia a lot, Iran a lot, and like Ukraine. Just a couple of years ago, I flew to Ukraine, to Crimea. And so I come to this place, and these two guys pick me up, and they say, man, we got problems here. He says, man, inflation is terrible. Their currency is worthless, and people can't get jobs. And what are you going to do about it? And I said, I just landed. Give me a break, you know. So we drive down to the coast, and so the next morning I get a chance to talk to the group. And I said, all right, to the group, the purpose of business is to solve people's problems. That's the only purpose. There's no other reason for business to exist except to solve people's problems. If nobody got hungry, having a restaurant is stupid. If nobody got tired, having a hotel, you're out of business. If nobody had cars, owning a car repair shop, you'd be bankrupt. So the only reason for business to exist is to solve people's problems. Now, do you think you can find a place in the world where there's a lot of problems? That's where you want to go if you want to build a business. And they say, wow, we have problems. It says, man, nobody has any money. There's no jobs. So just changing how people look at things. And if you think about it, if everybody was rich, it's going to be hard to sell a business opportunity to them. People live forever. Selling vitamins, pretty tough. People never wrinkle their, skincare. The only reason for people to exist in business is to solve people's problems. So I say, if you want the easier way to talk to people, you got to listen, because you are not going to know how they live or what their problems are if you're talking at them. So a lot of these high-powered network marketers, they say, I have the sales presentation. All you want to do is try to show them these slides. We are, that's a dead end. I said, no, all you have to do is listen to see if they have a problem that you can fix. And then it's a simple matter of asking, do you want to fix the problem? Yes or no? When? Now, okay, let's talk. How hard is that? So when people have a problem, they're more motivated to fix that problem than they are for some super benefit. So the human mind really concentrates on problems because that's messes with our survival. So if you say, all right, all I need to do is be a better listener, listen to people have problems. If they have a problem, just ask them if they want to fix it. If they don't, we're done. We talk about something else. If they do, we should talk and show them how to fix their problem. It's not rocket science. So let me do an example. There's a question you can ask that will get people to expose their problems. So if anybody here sells health products, this particular question is a license to print money.
I am writing it down.
All right. So here's the question. All right. So first of all, who has health problems? Young people? No. Young people have no money, but a lot of health. Old people have a lot of health problems, but they have money to fix it. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal already, doesn't it? So where are we going to find some old people? Let's go to an old people party. So we go to an old people party. There's 20 couples there. They're all old, over 30. So we're going to talk to them. And then all we have to do is listen. So somewhere in conversation, we're going to say these magic words. What are your two biggest health challenges? What are your two biggest health problems? So all we have to do is chat with these old folks over 30. And somewhere in the conversation say, what are your two biggest health problems? Here's what they're going to do. They're going to say, well, wait, everybody I talk to is tired of listening to me complain about my health. You're going to listen? Oh, man, I love you. We're joined at the hip, Vulcan, mind meld, blood brother, blood sister. You asked me, let me tell you how much I suffer. This is great. My kids don't even listen to me. And so we say, what are your two biggest health problems? And they say, oh, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, my hips hurt, my back hurts, my neck hurts. I have migraine headaches, acid reflux. That's a disease now, 5 known diseases, 4 unknown diseases, 3 diseases they haven't even discovered yet. And when they finally take a breath, we're going to say these magic words. Would you like to do something about it? Yes or no? Would you like to do something about it? Now, if there's 20 old couples there, I'd be surprised if you left with fewer than 10 customers. It's just, Texans would call it shooting fish in a barrel. It's so easy. You're talking to people, they have problems. You let them know that we have a solution. Take the volunteers. Would you like to do something about it? That's it. Now, I can tell you what happened when you talk to people. I'm talking to my mom. This is 30 years ago, and she had blood sugar problems. So I got her some tablets, some nice healthy tablets that she could take. 30 days later, I came back and say, how you doing, Mom? And she says, well, can swallow the tablets. So I went out and found a liquid version, gave it to her. 30 days later, I called back, "Hey, Mom, how you doing?" "Well, I can't swallow pills or liquids." Only your mother can say this to you. So what is she saying? She's saying, "I enjoy visiting my doctor every 2 weeks. It's a social call here in a small rural community. I don't want to fix it. This is awesome." And that's okay. You just take the volunteers. Say, "Would you like to do something about it?" I should have asked that as my mom, but I didn't, I'm stupid. I'm trying to push a solution on her instead of asking first. So the words are, "Would you like to do something about it?" And say yes or no.
Simple, simple, simple. Makes so much sense. Once again, you're the master of the language, the linguistics of network marketing, Tom. There's nobody better than you. Nobody. And I've interviewed everybody, and I've talked to everybody, and I've worked with a lot of people. And it's just what you just said there, especially our young listeners. Listen to what Tom just shared there, because you want to go out there and have 17 different Google AdWords searches that lead you to the right prospect. The right prospect is whoever's at your gym, who's ever at your church, who's ever at your whatever it is that you do, and just talk to them and ask them those kind of right questions and let them respond. And the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, you're going to have to talk to a person anyway. And if they're right next to you, pretty convenient. So we can, I like to say, literally create prospects on demand. If we know how to talk, we can create them on demand. We don't have to go through 16 different steps to get somebody to talk to. We can talk to somebody right now. And you say, "Wow, I'd like to talk to better people." Well, there's ways of zeroing in on better people and stuff, but it's not rocket science. And I don't know if you call it linguistics. I just call it talking clear to people. Just most people say, "Well, that just makes sense. Let's go for it."
Well, what makes so much sense about the way that you do things is it's duplicatable. It's why you've built big teams, because they're not confused in all the minutia of, how many studies do we have on this particular ingredient that we can talk about versus, hey, these ingredients, here's what they may or may not do for you, right? Buy the product, try it. It might work. It might not. I don't know. If it doesn't, I'll give you money back. I mean, how simple is that? I mean, I love it. Well, it's just so simple.
And you're right about, the information and stuff. I say people don't use information. I mean, when you're at a restaurant and you order chicken, you don't ask the waiter, is the vegetables organically grown? Did the chicken have a happy life before they killed it? You just order. And people get upset about it and says, "No, we have to know these studies." And I'm thinking, all right, let's try this. Because sometimes I lose my patience. I'm thinking, man, I'm just not getting through. So I says, all right, answer this for me. How many people here in this room? Because you have a lot of people still folding their arms and really upset because they paid a lot of money for some slides or something. And I said, how many people here in this room entered a relationship or got married before you had all the information?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. At some point, we just have to accept the reality. And I don't know, it's not what we wish things would be. It's just the reality of how they are. And once we accept that, let's get on with it and just learn how to talk.
So, Tom, I first of all, I got to ask you this last question before we get to our close. So I know you're living in Thailand now.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you move over there, and whys and wheres and all that stuff? I mean, how's a Chicago guy that lived in Houston forever living in Thailand? How did that all happen?
Well, it doesn't matter too much where I live because I'm never home. I'm always traveling because I like traveling. And how I ultimately got in Thailand is I do a lot of workshops in Russia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, places like this. So it was a little closer for some of the community, but yeah, also, every 3 weeks I'd fly to the US and do a tour, a bunch of workshops there, then fly back. So it doesn't matter much where I am because I'm never here much. But of course, over the last 2 years, travel's been a little iffy. but thankfully it's clearing up. They need more special antioxidants. So
well, amazing. So the other question I have for you, okay? So if they go to Big Al, because I know you are on the road, you're the ultimate road warrior. I mean, I don't know anybody who travels in the industry more than you have, or you're still doing, and you've been doing it for forever. How do they get your speaking schedule? So if they're in a city that you're going to be in, they get a chance to come out, shake hands with you, and take a couple of pictures and ask some questions.
well, they go to bigalbooks.com, every week, twice a week, we send out some tips. When I'm back on the road, we just put the workshops there. And I just end up going everywhere because that's what I like to do. So I tell people, hey, invite me somewhere. Chances are I might even show up. So
Great.
and I've been invited to some weird places on top of a mountain in the middle of the jungle in Indonesia, where people took a boat 10 days to get there for the workshops. There's many places. And what's really cool is the people that come to the workshops, really, I get to meet the best of the best people that have, I don't know, positive mental attitude, want to do something with life. So I get to meet the really, really nice people who want to improve themselves everywhere I go. So it's great. So in every country, you'd be surprised. I do a lot of workshops in Iran, and people are always different than the government. How's that? And you can say, yeah, in America, people are different from the government because the government changes every 4 years or 8 years, one party or the other. And people are basically the same. They want something better for their family, a better life, and they want an opportunity to do it. And what's nice about network marketing is instead of like having a lot of money invested and having some political connections and lots of capital and lots of risk and laws and expertise, we can get in this business with effort. And that's opens it up to everybody, where everybody has a chance. Because when I started, I didn't have any money, but they said, here's your chance to learn and earn. So yeah, learn. So I know people like watching your podcast because they can learn cool things to make their business rock. So personal development is a big part of it. And I say, well, as long as you do personal development, you're going to probably work on your attitude, your motivation, your vision, your goals. And that's probably 80%. But the last 20% is the skills to make it happen. So what happens is a lot of people stop at the 80%. They walk on coals at a Tony Robbins event and they cheer here, but they work on their mindset. But at some point, you're actually going to have to say words to people. So it's not like the 20% skills is more important. It's just that they're necessary. It's like wheels on a car. The wheels are only 20%, but without them, it just doesn't work.
I want to go back to one thing you said a minute ago, because in doing these interviews, and this has been a blessing, Tom, not only you and I today, but some of the other people I've interviewed, and not only learning stuff for my own business, obviously, from interviewing such great people, but the stories that you hear. And I've seen them myself. I was in Colombia a few years ago when our company opened down there, and there was a lady that took a train for 30 hours to come to the meeting. 30 hours. You tell an American to come 30 hours. I got to meet that American. Because I don't know that out of the 350 million of us, I don't know one personally. I think that would get on a train 30 hours to come to a meeting. But you do get to some of these markets like you just described, the Croatias, the Irans, etc., that the people are hungry. They're hungry for capitalism, for free enterprise, for knowledge, for opportunity. And like you said, hey, at the end of the day, we all bleed the same, right? You cut us, we all bleed red blood. And people are the same in that sense. But I'd love you to just kind of, like you just said, somebody traveled 10 days to come and hear you speak in Indonesia. Was it Indonesia, I believe?
Yeah.
In Indonesia. Talk about that a little bit. What you see that maybe because most of our audience, we do have an international audience. Most of our audience, US, Canada, UK, Mexico, that listen to the show. Some of those other places in the world where people are just so hungry. Talk about that for a minute, because you see the best of humanity in terms of their intentions. I'd love you to talk about that a little bit.
This was 30 years ago. Somebody said, we're in Indonesia and we want to do network marketing. We need help, So I said, well, I'll go. It's only, well, at that time I was living in Houston. So it was, I don't know, 30-hour flight to get there. So you get there and you kind of find somebody some pirate to drive you up the mountain. So we go up to this mountain to a place called Malang Batu. And all they have is a building there that has one door, no windows. Now this is on the equator, so it's a little bit hot. So 300 people come there to learn. And some come as far away as 10 days by boat from Borneo and places like that. And they just want to learn how to improve their lives so they can build a network marketing business. So for them, they were able to learn. And I had most of the people there spoke Bahasa Indonesian, but I had a Chinese translator who was Muslim. So you could just say, man, the translation probably was, wasn't too good. So we did that during the day, and at night we got to go out in the jungle because, I like the jungle treks at night a lot. So it was just an overall good experience for 3 days. I wouldn't recommend it because let's say the living quarters were basic at best. There's no Wi-Fi, but people don't care. They just want to have a chance to improve their life, and network marketing will do that for people. So if you could show them how to talk to people to improve their life, wow, I can't think of anything more gratifying.
Incredible. Well, Tom, it has been a privilege. I want to thank you. I want to thank you on behalf of the industry, because folks, if you don't know Tom, you need to know Tom. If you don't know Tom's work, you need to know Tom's work, because it's going to help your business, bottom line. Like these people who traveled 10 days to come and hear him speak. All you need to do is go up to Amazon and press click and give a couple of pennies, and you're going to get some great stuff in return. It's going to be a blessing to you and your business and your family. But Tom, I really do want to thank you, because you've been an inspiration to me over the years. And, as I get older, I look at yourself and some of the other guys that I interview, and I say, hey, you know what? We've been blessed. We've been given a gift of this industry. And the fact that you're still out teaching, working, leading, inspiring, I just want to thank you. You're an incredible human being, and continued good success, continued good health, most importantly. And I'm going to give you the last word. Sign us off.
Just learn. Just try to learn one new thing every day. And gosh, in a year, we don't even recognize ourselves. So I knew numbers, nothing else. And I had to learn even basic social interaction. So if you like to learn, go to bigalbooks.com, register for free so you can just get all the tips and newsletters. And if you want to help Amazon with their bottom line, you can probably order a book from them. But the point is, it's easy to learn cool things to say. So people will say, yeah, let's talk. That's it.
Well, thank you again, Tom.
All right. Thanks for inviting me. And I hope people have a terrific success talking to people.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Leave Nothing to Chance. If you want to know more about what it takes to succeed in the network marketing space, join us again next week for another amazing episode. For additional resources and to connect with John Solleder, visit leavingnothingtochance.com. Don't forget to leave a review, and we'll see you next time.